Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises to our boy, Yahweh Hashem El Shai, Hashem Kadash. Call Halalim Yahweh Hashem El Shai, Hashem Kadash. That's in the ancient Hebrews, and all praises to Yahweh, in the name El Shai, hidden name of the Spirit. Yahweh is the correct name for the God of the Bible, who the world ignorantly called Jehovah, God or Yahweh. His son's true name in the Hebrew is Yahweh Shai, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. True name for the God of the Bible in the Hebrew is Yahweh, and his son's true name in the Hebrew is Yahweh Shai. I want to give the honors unto our elders and apostles of great millstone, and shalom to all the brothers and who pushing this word in sincerity and in truth, all believe in this gospel. Shalom. Alright, this lesson, as we're going to title it, She That Is Thine Enemy, which is the Israelite woman, so-called Negro, Native American, Hispanic, Latino, and even women in general, they are set up right now as our enemy for the most part, and we have to keep that in mind and deal with them as such, Again, the scripture goes to this real quick. First Peter chapter 3 and verse 7. It says, Likewise, ye husbands, dwell with them according to knowledge, giving honor unto the wife as unto the weaker vessel, and as being heirs together of the grace of life, that your prayers be not hindered. And the main point I want to take away is dwell with them according to knowledge. So knowing that they are programmed, for the most part to be your enemy, and you have a wife. The scripture says if you have a wife, don't seek to be loose. You mean you'll kick her to the curve. See if she, as the scripture says, she going to test the will have her, give her a bill of divorcement, But yeah, that's the reason why Paul said, you have trouble in the flesh. Because what will take place is that she programmed to be your enemy for the most part, meaning that she will not submit, fully, and God them make for submit fully on this side, and also them set people break you, them do it unintentionally at times. Them know so that them do, see it and work through them as well. For example, Job's wife, Job's wife thinks she did do him good when it's a curse God and die, but no, that's Satan working through her. She's the weaker vessel. See him as though in the but then in the garden, the story it tells us how Eve was deceived, and then she bring the thing to the whole philosophy to Adam, and him fall. Look at us today, where we all die. So knowing that she's programmed like that, she basically through her emotions she will sway for the things where or try to sway for the things where you're supposed to do. We have to be aware of this and be on guard at all times. Now let them guard. So let's go to, let's start off. But I want to get the book of Micah. So okay. Micah 7. Let's start the verse. Start at 5. It says, Trust ye not in a friend, put ye not confidence in a guide. Keep the doors of thy mouth from her that lieth in thy bosom. So know what you say to your wife. She's supposed to know your whole business, Because in the day, it will basically anything you say can be and will be used against in the court of law. Basically it can go to your own downfall, Your woman's supposed to have limited information or need to know information about you, for your own good. Verse 6, it says, For the son dishonoreth the father, the daughter riseth up against her mother, the daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. A man's enemies are the men of his own house. Right, so we'll find out the most, like for example, we have to do this ministry, so a lot of time is spent within this ministry. No woman now come and say you not spend no time with her, you not spend the time with her family, it's like you hate them. But that's actually she being an enemy, not knowing. Like for example, Peter. When Yahushua told Peter that hey, he must go die, he must go get crucified, as a sacrifice for the nation of Israel. I mean not in so many words, but what Peter said, no, you can't, no, Lord, you can't dead. But what did the Lord say? Get thee behind me, Satan. So Yahushua was rebuking him because he was being an adversary. Yes, which basically Satan mean adversary. And that's the woman. The woman be a adversary based on her emotions. So she judged it from a carnal standpoint, saying that you know spend time with the kids, and they don't really understand how we do either. So them see it as a waste of time, a waste of life. So they will try to console you, and respond with it, basically, do certain things. No waste of life, you'll convert and whatever. But that's them being an enemy of we have to use wisdom to say, hey, well, you can't really fully understand what me I do. Then some understand what you are do, but I can't, give in to your desires, even though they may have crocodile tears, I shed. Verse 7, it says, therefore I will look unto the Lord, I will wait for the God of my salvation. My God will hear me. Rejoice not against me, O mine enemy. When I fall, I shall arise. When I sit in darkness, the Lord shall be a light unto me. And we're basically in darkness right now, the valley of the shadow of death. The Most High be that light. The scriptures, him shine, him use, basically provide us that light. Right, the hour is the light. You see him come in the volume of the book. Right, so it shows us the correct path, where to go. Right, which basically the path to lead to Him. The righteousness. Verse 9, I will bear the indignation of the Lord because I have sinned against Him. And the indignation is the punishment, and a part of the punishment is having the Israelite woman set against us. Sometimes they even say, like, me even reasoning with some females on the plantation, and I say, it's only hate man, but they must say them don't hate men, but them actions and them spirit actually display something else. So when they makes it now, it's basically, we call it, subconsciously, them have a spirit where them disdain men, but them it's not something where outright confess, because them know that it makes sense, but yet them resent and them feelings and all of that pent up on the hurt where them go through so called, not say so called, a woman go through shit too, it all basically just go down to the curses, which the scripture going to tell us that she gonna hate us. Even the man gonna hate the woman, because nowadays, we see them wicked, say, you keep a, you call it, keep a stick distance, put them off. But it's all a part of the curse, because in the kingdom we will be one family. Man and a woman will basically be one flesh, as according to the scripture. That's how it's supposed to be. But because of transgression, will go against the scripture, then the curse come, and the Most High put a division there. Even the point of the curse, where the scripture say, thy wife shall be an harlot in the street. So a woman of a promiscuous mindset, right? And not all, but for the most part. He says, so I will bear the indignation of the Lord, so we bear this. When you have a wife, you deal with her with the mindset knowing that, hey, her spirit gonna be against you, because the true purpose of a woman is to basically be an idle mate unto a man. So she's supposed to sacrifice everything in her life for your welfare. But she not gonna do that, because some of them even grow up and say, oh, when she sacrificed everything for a man, and the man basically left her for another woman, which there's niggas out there that does that is wrong, but them will, the point is that them can't, we know a fuck up situation where is that them set against us. Some have reasons, some stupid ass reasons, but nevertheless, it is what it is. So I have to deal with wisdom and know that, hey, this is just for a temporary time until Yahweh Shemel shall reverse things. And that's all we're waiting on. He says, because I have sinned, but while we are here, we have to have the mindset of knowing that, hey, even though it's a crocodile tears, them careful at times here, them think them are look out for welfare, but it's actually not. So we have the wisdom and knowledge of, say, alright, actually care about my sister still, but you don't really have the wisdom of me of, if say, hey, I this is the right way. To them we look like we're destroying our life. It says, because I have sinned against him, until he plead my cause and execute judgment for me, he will bring me forth to the light, and I shall behold his righteousness. Then she that is mine enemy shall see it. So the scripture refers to our enemy, because she program against us. And shame shall cover her which said unto me, where is the Lord thy God? Mine eye shall behold her, now shall she be trodden down as the mire of the street. Because at that point then go know, so shit, then they're wrong. They're going to prove it. Even, what is scripture? The scripture, so I think it was Jacob, the apostles them same always something like, we have to experience bad to appreciate good. And if the woman gonna be shamefaced in the kingdom, then gonna need a reason to be shamefaced. you know, by looking at them hawks in this life, when them come in the kingdom, then gonna load themselves. The scripture tell you that. See, oh shit, them fuck up, so then gonna be shamefaced. So it's just a means to an end. So if we just bear it while it lasts, knowing that hey, them our enemy now, but in the kingdom they will be with us. Right? Let's get one more precept here. Well, not really one, but get this one. Ecclesiastes 7 verse 26. And I find more bitter than death the woman whose heart or mind, that's what the word heart mean, from the Hebrew word lab, which mean mind, whose heart is snares and nets, and her hands as bonds. Yeah, so and them do it with them emotions, make you feel guilty. Which I'm gonna read an account twice, to Samson, and a lot of man will say Samson weak here, but whatever fall victim to it at times. Kudos to a man who never fall to that if there's one. Even Zerubbabel him tell about even the king, right? Tell say woman strong. Based upon the level of effect with him of over us, So the scripture says this, whoso pleaseth Yahweh shall escape from her, but the sinner shall be taken by her, because we will please the Most High and give us knowledge. That's why we deal with women according to knowledge. Know that hey, them fucked up in the head, and them think them right, but it is what it is. Let's get a curse, and then we're gonna go into the example with Samson. So the scripture says more bitter than death, because you find yourself in a sunken place, and you find yourself doing 1,000,001 TPN Armstrong. Oh, she got me doing things thought I'd never do, doing things I'm telling you. Yeah, because the woman is that manipulative. Even down plantation here, women are both say them very manipulative and get them man for do what they want. With them feelings, them work on your conscience, make you feel guilty. But we have to be still be man, and know wrong from right, and say no matter what you want to say, me not doing that. They will tell you, say, care, you never do nothing for them yet, and them ball and they say, going left or whatever. It is what it is. We have to just stand firm. And pray for the spirit to stand firm here, because, he's rough out there. This is Deuteronomy 28, verse 56. It says, a tender and delicate woman among you, which would not adventure to set the sole of her foot upon the ground for delicateness and tenderness. Her eyes are the tender woman, which you really see that these days. No one enough of them are a truck driver, fly up in a man face in a fight and all that, full of testosterone. But Scripture said the tender and delicate woman is soft and very feminine. What? It says her eyes shall be evil toward toward the husband of her bosom, and toward her son, and toward her daughter. So we'll find the Most High, to the curses actually, which even when you can see it even happening during the Willing syndrome. And a good example for the woman actually being her enemy, not even knowing. With the Willing syndrome, a lot of us is raised by our mothers, and them teach us for them feminine ways to actually destroy us whenever fit for a man. So rough. So we have to unlearn these things and grow as men now in this faith. Right, but them think them do them best, which they did their best, which their best was not enough, because a man's supposed to raise man after a certain age. Right, but the whole society is so fucked up here that hey, women are raised man, which lead to a lot of niggas out there, being effeminate. But hey, Skipper said them will hate we. See, that's a fine woman, then they say no trust man, and man are wicked and all of that. And one man hurt me, and then gonna basically fuck up man and all of that. All of this is based on the curse. And I'm not saying that men no hate women and man no fuck over woman, and not. No, we deal with women right now. So we deal with one topic. We can deal with another topic of the day. But us in this sphere, and this is only for the like men in this sphere, fuck whosoever, have a problem with this. How we deal with women. Because if a woman basically be true with herself and she can see it, if the Most High reveal it, that them feelings a lot of times, will cause men to go astray. And then when you like a woman will tell us, say, oh, you like your beard, you look like Bushman. You know, and if a man up, you maybe a couple months or maybe years after, you see him say, like, me, witnesses, I mean, never think me actually experience it. You know, like, I want to tell me if I groom myself and cut my beard and blah, blah, blah. You know, and, we're stubborn to that. You see, we're tunnel vision, fuck that shit. I see where you can come on conference and say, you know, see, you look weird with your beard. I'm saying, no. You see me? So we have to stand strong. Them and them feelings, yeah, them go off the society, but really and truly they're being led astray. So we can't lay astray with them. We did that. And so we get us here in this hell, you know, back in the garden. Right? So now we see we are following the woman that's following Esau, the devil, you know, where it get us. So now we have to follow the Most High strictly. About Shemi Oshai. Regardless, and if the woman want to follow, she follow. If not, then it is what it is. Remember Lot's wife. Right, so let's go to the example. Another one, let's go too long. Let's see if we can read quickly. The example with Samson. So we're gonna go to the book of Judges. And get Judges 14 first. Judges 14, I'm going to start at verse 15. It says, and it came to pass on the 7th day that they said unto Samson's wife, which basically Samson gave a riddle, you know, and he couldn't get it, so, you know, the time ran out. So it says, entice thine husband, that he may declare unto us the riddle, lest we burn thee and thy father's house with fire. And now, with fire, have ye called us to take that we have? Is it not so? And Samson's wife wept before him. So she get threatened. Yeah, she get threatened. Say, you don't get that riddle for your man, we won't fuck you up. Sorry for my French. It says, and Samson's wife wept before him and said, thou doest but hate me. You see where she go? She never go confess and say, they ain't threatening me, you know. You see me? She go and say, yo, you hate me. And a lot of women do that, yo, because them feel like they're hated. You know, that's how them program. And some just do it forget what they want. It says, and said, thou but hate me, and lovest me not, which any man who have a woman supposed to say this already. It says, thou hast put forth a riddle unto the children of my people, and hast not told it me. And he said unto her, behold, I have not told it my father nor my mother, and shall I tell it thee? And she wept before him the 7 days. So she did a bawl, and basically a pity. You know, while their feast lasted, and it came to pass on the 7th day that he told her, because she lay sore upon him. So she press him, and then give in. And she told the riddle to the children of her people. You know, so that was the whole agenda for she get it, and she swore ball in front of him, oh, you hate me, no love me, blah blah black sheep, you know, until him give in. So that's just an example. She say, yo, a lot of times, when you see the woman crying or whatever, you know, just fuck it, fuck your tears. This is what it is. You may feel some hate you or whatever, but so I go. And me saying this, I'm not saying that I'm this macho man that, you know, strong and can, you know, prevail against women and, you know, person and me and him saying them. No. I'm just saying this is the right way which we're supposed to try for faith, you know, try. So I'm gonna go to Judges now, another account this now, Judges 16 and verse start of 5, you know, let's read quickly. Come on, I belong to go verse 21 or 20. So this is Judges 16, let's get the story. Judges 16 verse 5. And the scripture says this as well. We're going to go to the book of Romans 15 and 4. It says, for whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for learning, that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope. So these things are written for learning, yeah? Yeah, so we can read the account and say, alright, this is not what to do, this is a better way, you know, if we apply ourselves in these last days. So this is Judges 16 verse 5. So the lords of the Philistines came up unto her, which is his wife Delilah, and said unto her, entice him. So do it again, you know, entice mean, you know, your word upon somebody's mind, to seduce them basically. Nice him up. It says, and see wherein his great strength lieth, and by what means we may prevail against him, that we may bind him to afflict him. and we will give thee every one of us 1100 pieces of silver. And Delilah said to Samson, Tell me, I pray thee, wherein thy great strength lieth, and wherewith thou mightest be bound to afflict thee. And Samson said unto her, If they bind me with 7 green withs that were never dried, then shall I be weak and be as another man. Then the lords of the Philistines brought up to her 7 green withs which had not been dried, and she bound him with them. Now there were men lying in wait, abiding with her in the chamber. And she said unto him, The Philistines be upon thee, Samson. And he brake the withs as a thread of tow is broken when it toucheth the fire, so his strength was not known. And Delilah said unto Samson, Behold, thou hast mocked me, and told me lies. Now tell me, I pray thee, wherewith thou mightest be bound. And so she basically worked to deceive him. And a lot of women do this, yo. And so come like that and even say to them fuck up. Because this is wickedness. But nevertheless, yo, so the most I have it to play out. It says, And he said unto her, If they bind me fast with new ropes that never were occupied, then shall I be weak and be as another man. Delilah therefore took new ropes and bound him therewith, and said unto him, The Philistines be upon thee, Samson. And there were liars in wait abiding in the chamber, and he brake them from off his arms like a thread. And Delilah said unto Samson, Hereto thou hast mocked me, and told me lies. Tell me wherewith thou mightest be bound. And he said unto her, If thou weavest the 7 locks of my head with the web, they can't run me here. Still at the rest of them, she fastened it with the pin, and said unto him, The Philistines be upon thee, Samson. And he awake out of his sleep, and went away with the pin of the beam, and with the web. And she said unto him, How canst thou say, I love thee? So she started playing love card now again. It says, When thine heart is not with me, thou hast mocked me these 3 times. So she has to hear him heart not with him, him no love her, and him a mock her when she look for the betray him. Because she get paid. It says, And has not told me wherein thy great strength lieth. And it came to pass, when she pressed him daily with her words, and urged him, so that his soul was vexed unto death. So she in her ears. Every minute she asks him, You don't love me, blah blah. Why don't want to tell me this, son? Is it me? You say we are supposed to be one, and we not hide none from each other, and blah 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 blah. Men go through it, not in this specific case, but in other ways. A woman try to seek out everything about you, and then she get bored and cut. You see me? Or try to change you and then say, You have changed. Call them our enemy. It says that he told her all his heart. So now he basically starts spill it. It says, And said unto her, There had not come a razor upon mine head, for I have been a Nazarite unto God from my mother's womb. If I be shaven, then my strength will go from me, and I shall become weak and be like any other man. And when Delilah saw that he told her all his heart, she sent and called for the lords of the Philistines, saying, Come up this once, for he had shewed me all his heart. So now the man get vulnerable with her. This is how she behave. A lot of men, even me experience it. Sometimes we fall, for the trap and we get vulnerable, and that's why people say, supposed to keep your mouth from her, like, in your bosom. Hold certain things for a woman, because it will be used against you in court. It says, Then the lords of the Philistines came up unto her and brought money in their hand, and she made him sleep upon her knees, and she called him, and she called for a man, and she caused him to shave off the 7 locks of his head, and she began to afflict him, and his strength went from him. And she said, The Philistines be upon thee, Samson. And he awoke out of his sleep and said, I will go out as at other times before and shake myself. And he wist not that the Lord was departed from him. But the Philistines um, took him and put out his eyes and brought him down to Gaza and bound him with fetters of brass, and he did grind in the prison house. Yeah, so that's how the woman works, yo. Right, our feelings, with our emotions work upon us, basically turn against us and then build away there. The bar crocodile, and a woman don't even know what she want, for the most part. And they will think they want this and you know better, so that's not good for them. But then press upon you, may give in, and then lo and behold, we find ourselves in a fuckery. I'm going to close off with this. First Corinthians chapter 7. I'm going to start at verse 27. It says, Art thou bound unto a wife, seek not to be loosed. Art thou loosed from a wife, seek not a wife. But, and if thou marry, thou hast not sinned. And if a virgin marry, she had not sinned. Nevertheless, such shall have trouble in the flesh, but I spare you. And that's how the trouble come here, which she basically, her mind is not fully knit with the man, to subject unto the man, as the scripture says she's supposed to obey him in everything. She go on her own way, she go in her own feelings, and her feelings don't really correlate with logics, which are mind more likely, especially us in this truth, with logical. Our mindset is basically programmed to follow Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. Right? But the woman is not. The woman is giving on to her feelings. And if you give in to her and her feelings, then destruction. And so by constantly going against her feelings, that's trouble. Verse 29, this is an example. It says, But this I say, brethren, the time is short, it remaineth that both they that have wives be as though they have none. So if I don't mind, so you shouldn't really with us, which is true. And they that weep as though they wept not, and they that rejoice as though they rejoice not, and they that buy as though they possess not, and they that use this world as not abusing it, for the fashion of this world passeth away. So the most is about to reset things, say, behold, I basically set all things new, and that's our design. When we can basically be one again, because constantly going back and forth with a woman, constantly put up the fence, I hear that, I hear in the house, but as it's written, I will bear the indignation of the Lord, until he basically plead my cause, until the most I see it fit to remove this curse which is going to be in the kingdom of heaven. So I hope this lesson is edifying unto you like out there, giving all praises to our Paul, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai Ba'ashem Kakadash, Hallelujah Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai Ba'ashem Kakadash, the one is unto our elders and apostles of great millstone. Shalom to the full